known as truthful and honest, straight from the beginning, no blemish, never ever. It is recorded that not once was he known to have told a lie in his life. May Allah protect all of us. May Allah protect all of us. Sometimes we just, a simple lie that really you didn't have to lie. Why did you lie? Worst case scenario, just keep quiet, close your mouth. They say, did you? You say, At least I didn't lie, right? I didn't lie. But Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was amazing. Known as the truthful, the day he came, gave the message, the first person, his wife, thereafter his cousin who lived with him, Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anh, a young man, and he believed him. Then his best friend, what was his name by the way? His best friend, what was his name? Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anh. They used to call him Abu Bakr, but his name was actually Abdullah. Did you know that? Did you ever know that? His proper name was Abdullah. Did you know that? They used to call him Abu Bakr. The real name, Abdullah. Abu Bakr ibn Abi Quhafa. And Abu Quhafa was his father's name. They used to call him Abu Quhafa, but his father's name was actually Uthman. Did you know that? So he was Abdullah ibn Uthman. If I tell you Abdullah ibn Uthman was the best friend of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, you'll say, no, it was Abu Bakr. I'll say that's one and the same person. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Learned something, right? Abdullah ibn Uthman, the best friend of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as soon as he said, worship your maker alone, he said, I'm with you. Khalas, worship him alone, leave everything else. We worship he who made me. What do you say? Oh, you who made me, you are the greatest. Oh, you who made me, I owe my head on the ground for you and you alone, because you made me. Oh, you whom I'm going to return to, I worship you, I love you, everything about me is controlled by you. I'm going to return to you. I know you're merciful, you're kind, you're great, you're generous, you're the most beneficent, the most forgiving, and so on. They loved it. They loved it. This concept of Godhood, never before had they heard of it. لِتُنذِرَ قَوْمًا مَا أُنذِرَ آبَاؤُهُمْ. Allah sent him to warn a nation whose parents and forefathers were not warned. Subhanallah. But guess what happened? A band of people found it a little bit difficult. You know, one day Abu Sufyan went up north, and where the Romans were ruling, they asked him about this man who had come up in Arabia with the message. One of the questions they said is, what type of people follow him? Abu Sufyan was a leader of Quraysh at the time. He says, you know, the downtrodden, not the wealthy or the powerful, but the others. The ones in society that are looked down upon and so on. And so he was told, well, that's a sign of a true messenger. Look at Jesus, may peace be upon him. Who followed him initially? Look at Moses, Musa alayhi salam. He had his people. Who was against him? The powerful, the wealthy, the Pharaoh, and so on. Right? So the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as time passed, more and more people began to say, you know what? Forget about all this wealth and property and whatever else it is. We have to follow this man. He is right. You know, Khalid ibn al-Walid was a master warrior and a wealthy man from a beautiful family. Khalid ibn al-Walid ibn al-Mughira. That was his name. He says, I fought the Muslims many times. And I promise you, I knew from day one, ar-rajulu mamnu'. This man is prohibited. We will never be able to harm him. Somehow he's protected with something. Subhanallah. He says, I knew it from day one. And it took him a while. Even in Uhud, when the Muslims suffered losses, Khalid ibn al-Walid says, I knew the victory is not going to be ours. And we're not going to overcome these guys.